Al Capone was born and raised as a child with severe anger issues and possible personality disorders. According to Salem Press Online, in just sixth grade, Capone got into a dangerous fight with his teacher, resulting in expulsion. After this life-changing experience, Capone decided to never return to school and instead turned to a future based on crime, violence, and abuse. He immediately became affiliated with small-time street criminals in his neighborhood and gradually worked his way up to become a member of the senior gang in his late teenage years. Capone later went on to work as a bouncer at the Brooklyn Salon, as stated by EBSCO Academic. Here, Capone got into a fight with a customer and got slashed on the cheek with a razor as a result. After being left with 3 jagged marks on his left cheek, Capone earned the nickname of Scarface, giving him a fierce and more infamous reputation. Additionally, Gale Biography and Context stated that in 1919, the U.S. banned the use of alcohol through the 18th Amendment, giving the members of Capone's gang a greater reason to instigate further conflict. Capone and his gangsters gained a significant amount of profit through bootlegging businesses, allowing Capone to become a top lieutenant and gain a substantial following. Throughout the 1920s, Capone proceeded to carry out a series of murders. However, after a thorough IRS investigation, Capone was caught and jailed for tax evasion. His abnormal behaviors from a young age gradually led to him being outcasted from the larger society of his nation and caused him to find a new place in a self-designed one for gangsters, tragically leading to his own downfall. While Capone's upbringing caused him to express dissatisfaction with the current flow of society, his criminality stemmed from his inability to make enough of an impact through his gang involvement.
Al Capone, an infamous individual during the 1920s, was particularly known for his involvement in gangs and illegal businesses. As someone who served as a prime bootlegger when the manufacture, sale, and transport of alcohol was banned by the 18th Amendment, Capone clearly defied the norms of society. He murdered and exploited people ruthlessly to attain his goal of obtaining a high position on a distinct social hierarchy and improving his business and marketing tactics. Capone was brought up as a child with severe anger issues who would frequently pick fights and entertain conflict with other children, particularly those who were larger and more demanding than him. A fight with his teacher in the 6th grade forced him to leave school and ultimately never end up receiving an education. Capone decided to earn his living through a small neo-society he constructed of gangsters. By creating his own rules, he developed his own following, yet fell out of favor with the larger society as a whole that he resided in and had traded his social contract for. His actions tragically resulted in his own downfall because of his inability to comply as an ordinary member of society.
According to biography.com, Indira Gandhi was born in 1917 to Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. Jawaharlal Nehru, along with Mahatma Gandhi, who supported hunger and nonviolence, created the nation of India as it gained independence from Great Britain. Indira Gandhi lost her mother at a very young age, according to biography.com, and as a result was introduced to government very early on along with her father. She was elected to the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Congress, and was considered young and in charge, and was an iconoclast because many other people in the government were very old, very much older than her. She had many problems with his rule and many other officials at the time, mainly their support of quasi-socialism and quasi-communism, and very early on, she gained access to the power in the party, the BJP, and was given prime ministership from her father. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, she faced many rivals in Congress, and many people wanted her out because she was a woman and did not want her in power. She created many new parties, primarily the Lok Sabha, the New Party, the NCP, and she won many elections and constantly garnered support from the public. One of the main things she was able to accomplish, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, was to guarantee Bangladesh independence from Pakistan, and she reformed Jawaharlal Nehru's international relations. She was exiled multiple times because she had so many enemies in Congress, and then as a result, she created many new political parties, and these political parties constantly gained support because she had so much support from the public. She was also able to groom her children into politics as well. She became the prime minister again, but as a result of her having many enemies, she forced strict rule and had to force sterilization, which was very unpopular. When her son was assassinated, she faced a lot of anger and grief from the public, and eventually she groomed her other children to be part of the Congress. Finally, from all the backlash she faced from Sikhs, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, she was assassinated by her own 2 bodyguards in her own front garden.
Gandhi was a very influential woman and the first and only prime minister of India to date. She's considered a little bit of a criminal, but mostly an iconoclast. The reason she's a criminal is because she faced so much backlash in her community from all the government officials that opposed her because she was a woman and she was young. And they exiled her from Congress, from prime ministership, and because it was a young country, she was not able to get her ideas across in her early career. And as a result, she had to instruct strict measures in order to gain respect from her community, such as forced sterilization, which is why she is seen by some as a criminal to date. Mostly, though, she's an iconoclast, as her rule is still seen, according to New York Times, in New York Modi's strict rule, and all the prime ministers following her, respecting her rule and respecting her order. Additionally, what she was able to do was that she was able to create a pathway for females in power in the Indian government to be elected to the Lok Sabha, which is the lower house of Congress, and the Rajya Sabha, and she allowed women to be in power in India today, which has a very high proportion of women in power.